Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. On today's video, we'll go over my first paycheck for the month of January. So we're gonna go ahead and budget that together. I have to say that although I'm planning on taking control of my finances, 2024 has already started. The bill started coming in. I woke up today and my balance in my bank account had an overdraft of more than $500 because of all the payments that went through on the first of the month. So thankfully, I did receive a transfer for the rental income that I'm getting. So I was able to pay off that overdraft. But I'm gonna have to shuffle some of the money that I'm getting tomorrow in my paycheck in order to put that back and use that rent income as I intended to do so. So let's go ahead and start this video. So as I mentioned in my last video, I now use budget planners in order to stay on track. I no longer use Excel spreadsheet every month to go over my budget. I found that having to write everything down really helps me figure things out as I have to reflect on how I'm spending my money, and I think I'm better prepared ahead of time to know what payments I have to make with which income stream that I'm getting. So for January, I already listed all of the bills that I had. So as you can see, this is a different planner than the one that I had in 2023. We'll see how I get used to it. It's a bit confusing because it's different from the last one that I had. So I decided to use the expense tracker as I usually do not use it. And I'm just going to list out all of my bills in order to match the paycheck that I have that coming in. So I know that January 3rd is my paycheck and it's going to be for $2,066. I already paid out my mortgage and my student loan, as well as my insurance for both my home and my car with my last paycheck of December. And in January, I'm so happy because we're gonna have 3 paychecks. So that's gonna hopefully help me get ahead in my finance. So the first expense that I'm gonna do with that paycheck is gonna be for food, and I'm gonna put $300. That's quite different than what I'm used to do in 2023. Usually what I would do is that once a month I would take out the entire amount for food in one paycheck. But usually what that meant was that for the last week I really had to scramble because there was not a lot of money left. So now what I'm gonna try to do is from every paycheck get an amount for food as well as for gas. So I'm cooking for 4 people, so that's about $150 of groceries every week. I live in Canada. $150 for 4 people is not a lot of money. All my boys are athletes. They're teenagers, so they eat a lot. So I try to do the best that I can with that amount of money. And what really helps me out is planning the meals that I'm gonna do. So I really try to have a grocery list when I'm shopping, and I'm probably gonna go over this in a future video, but the tools that I'm gonna continue using for 2024 is definitely continue buying the groceries online. So the next thing that I'm gonna pay off with that check is setting money aside for gas. So usually I take $50 a week for gas. Usually that's enough, but I do have my oldest son that started driving, and when he uses the car, usually he puts gas in the car. So that also helps me out and lets me stay on track with that expense. I also had a check that was supposed to go out of my bank account on January 1st because of the snow shoveling company. So for snow, it's almost $200, so that's what I'm gonna put. So the check still hasn't gone through, so I'm gonna use my money from the paycheck I'm getting tomorrow, so to pay that off, and that's my last installment payment for that. I also received an email from the electric company letting me know that I did not make my December payment. So I'm late on that, so I have to pay $195. So that's hydro, that's my electricity. I also rent out the water heater, and that's about $15 every month that I have to pay for that. I'm gonna try to set aside some money that I call other, and usually that's what I use for supplies, household supplies like cleaning, toilet paper, shampoo, things like that, sometimes food, restaurant. So just money, like buffer money. So I'm gonna take out $100 for that, and that's gonna be cash. That's one of the places that I usually go over. So when I have cash, I feel like for this category, it's easier for me to stay on track and not overspend. The other thing that I have to pay out is I do use a credit card sometimes to buy groceries and put gas in the car, sometimes to um, get cash back money from that. That helps me out. So I do have to pay the credit card for that because I do try to keep that balance at zero on that credit card. I'm not trying to go again into credit card debts. So for that credit card, I'm gonna put $156 to pay that off. The last thing I have to pay is my mom. So I had to do some renovation on my house this summer, and I did not have the entire amount of money that I needed to make those renovations. So my mom loaned me some money, so I'm trying to pay her back as soon as possible. So out of that paycheck, I'm gonna put $1,000 of that to pay her back. So if I add, so let's add everything up to see if we're at the $2,006. So let's add everything together. Oh yes, we're right on the money, $2,066. As for the money that came in today, it was for my rent. The rent money that I received, it was $920. And I'm gonna have to put that entire amount towards repaying my mother for the loan. As I said, I'm trying to give her back her money as soon as possible. So I take the, even though I don't have to pay her back any interest, I take this as a credit card debt. And since she's someone that's in the family, I don't really like having to owe anything to any family members or friends. So I'm gonna give her that entire amount of rent money that I received. Okay guys, so that's it for today's video. As you can see, the numbers here on my bill tracker, even though I had a decent check for the first week of January, I don't have a lot of wiggle room. Every dollar has to be attributed to something, and there's not a lot of options for me. I know that I'm gonna have to make other repairs in my house. My son broke a part of the shower earlier in the week, so I'm probably gonna have to have someone and take a look at it and have to buy some parts for the shower, so I have to set money aside for that. I also have an appointment next week at the bank because of my mortgage. As you know, the interest rates increased over the last few years, but my payment hasn't changed. And even though I was making extra payment on the mortgage principal, I still owe a pretty big amount of interest and principal because of that increase in the interest rate. So I'm gonna have to go at the bank next week and probably change the amount that I'm paying on my mortgage. So that's another stressful thing that's on my mind. If any of you have any suggestion as to what I can do, or if you experience such a thing, please share that with me in the comments. My next video is probably gonna be on that appointment that I have and keep you guys updated with my new mortgage. So thank you so much for watching today's video and see you soon. Bye.